Good morning, beautiful people. It is Friday, June 19th. And for those that don't know, it is also an unofficial holiday called Juneteenth. Jeez, say it right, Pat. Juneteenth. A day that is an unofficial holiday in America, but should be a real holiday in America. It kicked off the liberation of the slaves in June 19th, 1865 in Texas, which then led to the full freedom going forward a couple years later. I tried to read into it as much as I could because, to be honest, I never heard of it before, which is probably the biggest problem of it all, is that I'd never heard of this before. So this is something that I'm happy we are currently living in the time that we're currently in. Got a chance to do a little bit of research. Not enough. We'll continue to dive into it. I expect and hope that you would do the same. Juneteenth. Let's make it an official holiday. Big holiday in this, or big date in the history of this country to hopefully bring a little bit more freedom for everybody, and which is what we're trying to do right now. June 19th, 2020, also a good day for this show because we have Kordell Stewart, former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, wide receiver, punt returner, kick returner, safety, D lineman, offensive lineman, tight end. His name was Slash whenever he played for the Steelers back in the day, throwing balls to Yancey, Thigpen, Hines Ward, Plexico Burris, handing the ball off to Jerome Bettis, and also Chris Fuamatu Malfala. Made it to the AFC Championship game as a quarterback, led the Steelers there, and then they lost to the New England Patriots, who had a rookie quarterback named Thomas Brady. Mm-hmm. That kind of killed his quarterback career, to be honest with you, because the next year he played for 3 games, and then Tommy Maddox came in and took over from there. Tommy Gunn comes fresh out of the XFL, I believe, at that time. So it's Kordell Stewart was the name of my childhood, went by the name Slash. Can't wait to talk to him about football. The current state of football, by the way, which he would have absolutely demolished in. Can't wait to chat with him about that. And also Terrell Davis, Mile High salute for the Denver Broncos back in the day. NFL Network analyst, great conversation haver. Cannot wait to chat with him. He's a stud. Hall of Famer, obviously. But the last time he was on the show, I mean, I enjoy conversations with him. On this Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, we will have great chatter. Also, your phone calls, 1-833-622-3331. All the boys are here. At Nick Moraldo, at Tone Diggs is here. Ty Schmidt is here. Jason McAfee's here. At Viva Lazito is here. I like beer.
I still like beer.
At Viva Lazito, thank you so much. At Evan Foxy, also here wearing a plain white tee. Yep. Foxy's been putting on some real gains, by the way. This dude.
Oh, yeah.
And now his legs.
I can't tell if you're just saying that or not.
No, your legs are despicable.
Oh, you mean these legs?
Your oh, my God.
That's gross. Those shorts are supposed to be tight.
Bro,
they are tight.
Those are H&M.
They're kids.
Those are H&M skinny jeans, shorts.
Look at how tight those things are.
Okay, there's no such thing as a skinnier jean than the H&M skinny jean. Okay, that is for the skinniest of whites. They shop at H&M, right? Mm-hmm. I've always walked through there. I always appreciate the fact that it's like high fashion that kind of sold out a little bit because it's everywhere. So I enjoy that. It's because normally the clothes that you see in H&M you can only find in like the hoity-toity big city places that have the super fashion. But H&M figured out a way to drop them in every city. Like, okay, Pittsburgh will have an H&M. Okay, Indianapolis will have an H&M. So I've seen the places. I've always walked through there and I go, oh, that's cool stuff. That's cool stuff. And then none of it fits over a single calf of mine. Like I can't wear a single thing. But Foxy is literally the male model for that store, and I don't even know if they know that.
Yeah, I don't know how they make stuff that fits me perfectly like this, like tight wise. And then they also have an option for slim fit, and I have no idea how that's possible. This is not the slim fit. This is not the slim fit.
Twig fit?
This is the regular.
Foxy.
There is a slim fit on top of this.
Foxy displayed his legs to the universe yesterday on an Instagram post.
Yeah.
Weren't that bad?
I think the best one was they said that I looked like I was doing a handstand. I was just standing straight up.
You do have baby little legs.
Yeah.
I don't know how your legs are so small. Now, AJ Hawk, good friend of ours, McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. He seems to believe that a lot of leg size is genetics.
Yeah, and it would make sense. All my brothers have chicken legs too. So
how about your dad?
My dad does have chicken legs as well.
Is that why he's always
No. Wobbly. He's got great balance.
Hey, he practices every day.
He's got 2 arms hanging from his hips. That's what you got to do. At Boston Connors on the phones, 1-833-622-3331. You can talk to this human right here. What's going on, man?
Feeling great for the first time tomorrow. I will be cheering for an AFL team, the West Coast Eagles. Eagles! Eagles! Woo!
It's a shame that camera is where it is because everybody else kind of got a chance to see that you were wearing.
Woo! Talking about legs, Sparks. You get some of this, baby.
Hey, a lot thinner than just like 3 weeks ago. Connor, you look very, very good. That keto diet is paying off because there a couple weeks ago, I think a lot of people were thinking you were potentially going to tap your waters into the 300-plus club.
Well, it is one of my goals to be a 3 bills someday, but that day hasn't come yet.
You cut off Elon Musk's face there. You wore it yesterday as a headband. Today you wear the rest of the shirt. And this morning, I believe we found out that Elon Musk's dad just had a baby with his stepdaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Interesting.
The Musk penises we're learning a lot about.
They're all over the
last
place.
couple of days. Getting out. The headline said Elon Musk's dad has baby with stepdaughter who he has known since she was 4. Yikes. By the way, I didn't know Elon Musk had a dad. I thought he was an alien. So I learned that headline was a kind of a couple.
Little combo.
Okay, so he does have a dad that's a human. That's interesting. All right, now let's talk about that. Oh, he did. Okay, well, all right, just a weird family in general, but they made a brilliant man. Elon Musk is a brilliant, brilliant man. That Cybertruck has bulletproof windows in it. When asked why, he said you'd rather have bulletproof windows than non-bulletproof windows, wouldn't you? And yeah. And he said, yeah, that's why we did it. I don't know how Elon Musk does any of the stuff that he does. He creates cars and things that are better than everybody else's at a cheaper price. That is just not how the world works. He did that with rockets.
Yep.
He just did that with rockets. He's done it with cars. He's done it with rockets. And I still think he's an alien. But turns out his dad's kind of getting after it with his own stepdaughter. That's a wild scene.
Yeah.
That is a wild. That's I don't even know.
Thanksgiving's gonna be real weird,
Bro, we live in an insane world. I mean, we live in an insane. There are things that happen in this world that are just absolutely insane. Every once in a while, you'll kind of, happen past something on Instagram that happens. You're like, how did we even get it? Like, there's that guy who he puts things on his nipples and then he pulls things out from underneath stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He'll go, and then there's just humans out there that think of stuff, and it's just like, what are we doing?
Nothing surprises us anymore.
Nothing
at all.
Literally. And that's the internet. Hey,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the internet, baby.
That's the internet.
That Elon Musk headline about his dad having a child with his stepdaughter who he's known since 4, I want to act like I looked at that longer than I did. I want to act like I looked and that was like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. But I looked at it and I was like, yeah, it probably did happen. All right, let me go. Oh, UFOs are real? Oh yeah,
All right.
probably. Yeah, let me go ahead and go on.
Australia's getting hacked.
What?
Okay.
Oh, cyber attack on the whole country? Yeah, probably. I mean, that's just
2020.
There's a ring now that can tell you if you have COVID-19.
What?
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like it is an insane time to be alive, and that is why. Hopefully, after all this, our world will be a better place because we're all living through it together, by the way. Speaking of being together, here's a man who seems to have it together. He walked into this studio, spilled water over everything he possibly could. Sober, mullet Mitt. How are you doing today, Mitt?
Doing really good, Pat.
Is that right?
Yeah, doing really good.
I mean, you just dumped water all over a television that's in here as soon as you walked in, potentially broken here on Friday, June 19th. You look sober, ready to get blacked out drunk here in a couple hours. Oh, yeah. It's a bad day to be a beer. Mullet Mitt.
I already got the air out of the way.
What do you got going on this weekend? Going to get on a boat, maybe try to find COVID-19 as fast as you can with all your friends on a bus, maybe?
Yeah, I'm going to go to my buddy's lake house. So.
This kid lives a dream life. This kid lives a dream. I mean, an absolutely dream life. Beautiful mullet, which, by the way, you said you found your team, huh? Who was it?
I found my favorite player, Bailey Smith.
Oh, okay.
That's the kid with the mullet on the Western Bulldogs?
The Western Bulldogs. That's definitely my team.
So the Western Bulldogs this morning absolutely slaughterhoused the GWS Giants, which is Nick's team all of a sudden, because Nick and the GWS Giants were tweeting back and forth. So all of a sudden last night, I get flooded with text messages from Nick, which are highlights from this GWS Giants team. And after watching them play this morning and hearing about them, they might be the only good plays that team has ever had was the 4 text messages they sent this morning. Your team is a gritty team. That's what everybody says. But this morning, they got their asses handed to them by the team that has the guy with the incredible mullet, the Western Bulldogs.
Yeah, I think the boys were out a little bit too late last night. Probably had a couple too many Fosters. Some plane trouble, I heard, too, getting into town. And then I think somebody pulled the fire alarm at the hotel. They were a little grumpy, and they took it out on the Bulldogs.
Western Bulldogs take down the GWS Giants 57-33. And does that matter? Yeah, it matters because every game matters, especially in the AFL season. Games are shortened. Everything matters. But it wasn't on national television here in America.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
I don't know.
I had to watch a 17-0 Korean baseball game that was in the 8th. I had to watch that in the morning. Then they had rugby on Fox Sports 1. It's like, okay, yuck. Okay, yuck. We've already heard about this, all right? I've learned about rugby my entire life. I understand it's a very tough sport. It's a hard sport. But it's not for me. It's so boring. It's literally the football that everybody has kind of got rid of, like the ground and pound. Even the NFL owners who never understand anything and really are kind of out of touch with a lot of stuff, they're like, that style of game is boring. We need to open this thing up. We need more passing. We need this. That's what rugby is. Rugby is the boring style of football. And by the way, there are some people that love that. And I understand it's a very difficult game. I would not be able to play a game. I'm not tough enough. But I, as an ADD person who likes to see action and movement, rugby is just not for me. But this Aussie Rules football, here we go. Thought we had a TV deal here with ESPN this morning. Big games on. Had a little bit of a scrap after the third quarter. 2 of them. 2 fights this morning. Let it happen. Let it go. Coach was not happy. Came down and started yelling at people. But I'll tell you what. That GWS Giants team looks very bad at this sport of Aussie Rules football, Nick.
Yeah, but they can beat some ass. They are not afraid to kick someone in the mouth and throw some punches out there.
Those were the highlights Nick sent me last night. It was, by the way, their guys jumping up, just kicking people directly in the mouth with their cleats. And he was like, we got a savage group or something like that. And I was like, I don't think they win ever, though. And he's like, doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me.
Let's go out there and compete. Hashtag never surrender.
Hashtag always lose, though. THO.
How dare you?
How dare I?
Can you be ejected?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Was it a red card?
There was no follow-up to the kick in the mouth. So if that happens again, which I think the GWS Giants will be doing and turning too soon, if anything this morning tells me what the Giants are going to do in the next couple weeks, I think we are going to see cleats to mouth very soon over there.
Yeah, it looked like it was encouraged.
Really?
Mate, somebody said something. I watched the AFL after I tweeted about it not being on national TV this morning. They sent me a link, and people think we're getting paid by the AFL. By the way, we are not.
A cent. Nope.
And I thought about this last night. I had some vitamins, and like the news in Australia was reporting that I picked my favorite team. Okay. So I thought about me as an Australian sitting over there watching this game that I love. Okay. In this league that's been around 120 some years or whatever, and the news comes on, and it's me. Think about the video that me and Fox think about the video we put together yesterday. It's me and them going, former NFL superstar, blah, 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 picks his team. If I'm an Australian, I'm probably like, I hate this guy. Right? Like, I hate this guy. So I started seeing some tweets that were along those lines. I was like, oh, man, I'm just trying to grow their sport. And then I started thinking about it from my own perspective. I was like, oh, yeah, I would hate me too. I think it'd be very easy to hate me too. So I want to let the Australian people know that we are not being paid by anybody. There's legitimate, actual fanhood. And now, should I have known about the sport a long time ago? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think I should have. By the way, would have played it, I think. Not 100% sure that I would have ended up in the NFL. But we are not being paid by anybody. This is not a promotional thing. This is pure passion for a brand new sport that we didn't know existed until about 3 months ago. And here we are.
Yep.
We're in the middle of it.
Genuine.
Well, I think so. I really enjoyed it. I find a lot of the things in there to be amazing. I hope so, because I can't wait to get down to Australia and visit everybody's team. But first things first, Collingwood Magpies, 2:30 this morning. They're going to get after it.
I was going to say, good news tonight. Both games are on TV. The North Melbourne Roos versus Sydney Swans at 11:45 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
And then the Collingwood Magpies and the St. Kilda Saints on FS1 at 2:35 a.m.
My question is this, Diggs.
Yeah.
I am a Collingwood Magpies fan because I am a fan of people, not organizations. Coxzilla, friend of ours now, he's become the only American to ever really do the Aussie rules football good in the AFL. He plays for the Magpies. If he doesn't play again, right? If he doesn't get cleared for the next, I don't know, what do I do? Because I'll tell you what, that Western Bulldogs team, that kid with that mullet, I'm a big fan of the way he plays.
I'm telling you,
I am a big fan of the way he plays.
Wait, you may after you see Nick Nat play, you may jump to the Eagles with Connor. I mean,
I know, and I heard that guy is
no surprise that Connor just goes for like the team with the best player.
Not
on it.
at
That's
all.
just classic Connor.
dude,
Dusty Martin's best
6'7", this guy, and he's just what's his name?
Nick Natanui.
Nick Natanui,
Yeah, they call him Nick Nat.
and he's on the E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles. That's not the chant, I don't think.
No, I think it is. I saw it.
Nah, you ruined it.
Heard it enough times in that Super Bowl.
Anyway,
Won a Super Bowl since then, though.
will we ever win one again?
No.
There's a chance. There is a chance.
Hey, it's all about the AFL Grand Final now. That's what I want. I want that cup.
The Western Eagles Grand Final.
Yeah.
Hang a flag, I think they call it. They call it a flag. Instead of a
like
banner,
that.
they call it a flag.
The good news is next week we're going to see a real scrap because the Collingwood Magpies take on the GWS Giants.
Listen!
Real scrap.
Keep your savages off of Coxzilla if he makes his debut back there, okay?
He better be healthy.
No, that's what
That
I'm
knee
saying.
better be wrapped up tight.
They're coming already.
He needs to wrap the wrong knee. He needs to wrap the wrong knee because I think the Stooges at the Giants wouldn't even know. They wouldn't even. They see him limping. They would just see that thing and go after him. I guess the Magpies fans are known to be a bit obnoxious. I guess
Not bad.
I would have never guessed.
Passionate.
Very passionate.
Yeah.
I am. Hey, well, we have the biggest stadium. Cool. We host the grand final every time. Cool. Got a guy named Coxzilla on the team. Cool. That's my team. But if Coxzilla isn't playing for the next 3 or 4 weeks, what do I do? What do I do? Because that mullet on that dude on the Bulldogs was next level. The Western Eagles, okay, maybe we have a little talk about 6'7" Nick
West Coast.
Nick
Nick Natanui.
yeah, wait, maybe we check out. But then obviously this Giants team, they're probably the only team I won't be a fan of just because Nick just said he's going to attack Coxzilla next week.
I mean, I like Coxie. He just better watch it. Stay safe out there, man.
Jeez, Nick.
So this morning I watched they sent me a link though. They sent me a link. They said, hey, this is how you watch it internationally or whatever. And they're like, feel free to promote it or whatever. I was like, okay, I can put it out there. By the way, just from my knowledge of the people that follow me, not going to click on that link and do the sign up thing. I can just tell you immediately that that's not going to happen. But I wanted to watch the final, quarter while I was driving in. So I caught the end of it. I didn't see the scrap live. I saw that on Twitter. They called it a biff, I think. A biff is like a fight.
Couple Spitfires popped up too. I heard.
Is that their word? Is that what they call it?
Bit of a biffle.
A little bit of a biffo, I think they said at one point. We're probably saying something, by the way. We could potentially. We would like to let everybody know that what we just said, we do not know what it meant.
No idea.
We have no idea what that meant. So if it is offensive, we apologize, obviously. Probably shouldn't say that. But it is alleged that there was quite a Spitfire biffo this morning in the in-between quarters. There's 2 of them. But I watched the end of the game. And they had a post-show wrap-up that I watched. It was on the thing. It was Eddie McGuire, the president of the Collingwood Magpies. Obviously, you put the president of the best club up there and have him talk. And then 2 other dudes. And they were talking about strategy. And it was kind of, I was learning a lot. They take players out of the game. Like, they take people, like, I guess this morning, one of the Western Bulldogs guys was taken out of the game by the Giants thing.
Hell yeah.
No, not in the despicable way that you're hoping they did. Like strategy wise, they just completely they eliminated. Yeah, they double teamed. They eliminated him from the thing. So it was kind of fun to kind of learn about how it goes because we kind of get that it is a game and what the game is. But now the strategy, it was kind of fun to listen to.
They ran a boxing 30 on him.
Yeah, I think they had a safety over top too on a guy. I think they potentially had a high flyer hanging around. A lot of things to talk about today. Have to get to a break for the radio, folks. We'll take some calls during the break at youtube.com/the Pat McAfee Show. Kordell Stewart joining us in about 12 minutes. Terrell Davis in an hour and 12 minutes. Jamal Adams. Hey, Jamal Adams and the New York Jets are in a little bit of a biff. A little bit of a spitfire over there. A little bit of a disagreement. I think Jamal Adams just wants out of the Jets. We'll talk about that more on the other side of the radio break. Phone calls during the break. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Friday, June 19th. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here to the YouTube, folks. We are learning about Australian slang. A biff is a...
strike someone roughly or sharply with a fist. He biffed me on the nose.
So there was no biffs then this morning. It felt like it was a little bit of a scrum, a wrestling, a tussle. I don't know if I saw any full biffs to the face. Right, biff to the bloke's face. They kept saying bloke on the on the post-game press wrap-up show. They're like, he was a good bloke today or whatever. And I was like, oh, bloke. What a word.
So that's interesting because I thought bloke was more in English.
Yeah. Mate, I thought, was Australian.
Me too.
A lot of blokes instead of mates in the AFL wrap-up show this morning that I watched. I was very intrigued by it as well.
Interesting.
As soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, that's one bloke. Maybe that's just like a little throwback guy. And then the other guy brought in bloke. And he was like, hey, the blokes will make plays or whatever. I'm like, well, all right, here we go. So bloke is an Australian thing.
Okay.
Good to know.
Okay, so bloke is an mate, bloke, biff, Vegemite.
Fair dinkum.
Yeah.
Fair dinkum.
So I have the definition of a mate is a friend or companion. Bloke is just a man.
Oh.
So if they were calling them mates, it's a friend or companion. Apparently not friend or companion with whoever was talking.
So mate is a little bit more inclusive.
Yeah.
It's, you
he's
know
my
what I mean?
friend.
Bloke is a little bit more.
He's just a guy.
Just a guy. That bloker. Let's go to Austin.
Yep, nailed it.
Are you sure it's not Austin?
Nope, I'm sure it's Austin.
Let's go to Austin. What's going on, Austin?
Oh, not much. Just working.
Nice. So your name is Austin?
Dog.
Austin.
Austin. Yeah, that's what I thought. Honestly, that's what I thought. There's an absolute...
He said Austin?
Yeah.
I asked him 3 times and he said Austin.
Yeah, the issue with asking is you have to listen.
I
do
do
you
listen.
don't. That is literally your
Steve
problem.
back there.
That is your problem 1 through 10. Absolute fucking stupid, Austin.
I asked twice.
Yeah, but you didn't listen either time. That is kind of maybe something we could grow in if we're...
E-A-G-L.
Yeah, exactly. Austin, what do you want to talk about, bub?
That was a good chant by somebody who cheers for the team that they lost by. Anyways, I was wanting to touch on Jamal Adams maybe possibly coming to the Eagles. He put out that Instagram post, and it sounds like Eagles is one of the only teams that he could actually go to.
All right.
And then obviously Brandon Brooks out for the season is a little upsetting, but
tough.
I think we signed Jason Peters and sure up that side instead of worrying about going and getting another right guard.
Smart, Austin. Smart, Austin. He put you in a body bag back there.
Big time.
We'll talk about Jamal Adams here in about a minute and a half when radio comes back. But, I mean, the Eagles trying to make a play in the secondary and do it again. They brought in already a guy that they view as the best corner in the league from Detroit who gave him away for a bag of balls. They are trying to shore up that secondary for sure.
I did see that they could sign Jason Peters because he's been a free agent, and he's been with the Eagles forever. But does it make sense, like at that point in his career, can he just move to tackle where he's played all year or all forever and then just move to guard and be successful?
I don't think so. I don't know him. He's probably a freak athlete and do that. That is not a normal thing, though, for a tackle just to bump down to guard. Those are 2 very different styles of offensive line play. Tackle is one-on-one, basically. Guard is a lot of combos and driving. That's 2 very different positions. Good call there, actually, by you. Hey, look at you, man.
Tom.
Football.
Not a boy, Tom. Way to go, Tom. Yeah.
Thanks.
Way to go, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Tom.
For those that are just listening to radio, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Our friend Tone said something real smart during a break. Attaboy, Tone.
Attaboy, Tony.
Attaboy, Tone.
It's
Friday.
Attaboy, Tone.
Good job, Tom.
Everyone needs a great pair of wireless earbuds. And you already know Raycon earbuds start at about half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds on the market, and that they sound just as amazing as other top audio brands you know and love. Their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are their best ones yet, with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise-isolating fit. Raycon's wireless earbuds are so comfortable, they're perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. And unlike some of your other wireless options, Raycon earbuds are both stylish and discreet with no dangling wires or stems. You've heard us talk about how the company was co-founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, Melissa Etheridge, Brandy, and J.R. Smith.
Ooh, JR?
JR, Sir Swish,
all right.
are obsessed with Raycons. Now's the time to see what the hype is all about. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/Pat. That's buyraycon.com/Pat for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds.
Great.
Buyraycon.com/Pat.
Great read, Ty. Sorry about that. I didn't know you were going to hammer it home one more time. That's what a good reader does. buyraycons.com/Pat. Let's go get a nice noise isolating fit. Big news coming out of Jets camp. A couple weeks ago, there was a little bit of drama with Jamal Adams and the New York Jets. Jamal Adams still playing on his rookie contract, first-round draft pick, 6 overall, I believe, from LSU to the New York Jets. Has made 2 Pro Bowls already going into his 4th year. He is a stud of a safety for the New York Jets. Just a few weeks ago, there was a little bit of drama with the Jets and Jamal Adams because Jamal Adams and the New York Jets are having conversations. I don't know if it was about an extension or business in general. And the GM for the Jets told Jamal Adams that I will not even think about trading you. You're going to be a Jet, blah, 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 blah. Then, I guess just a couple days later or a couple weeks later, whatever it was, timeline being, there was rumors that people had called the Jets looking to trade for Jamal Adams, and he was potentially on the trading block. So Jamal Adams was upset. He said, hey, listen, this guy just told me, this bloke just told me that I was going to be a Jet. He wasn't going to trade me. Now I'm hearing stories about him answering calls to trade me. Who can I trust if I can't trust a guy who's going to potentially pay me my lifelong dreams worth of money? And now he's telling me he's not going to trade me. Now he's thinking about trading me. Now, if you know the game of foosball that well and the business side of it, this is something that does potentially happen, though. Now, it's not cool. It's not good. Could the GM have said there's no way we trade Jamal Adams? For sure. But what are you supposed to do if you're the general manager and you get a phone call from, let's say, the Dallas Cowboys, which is where Jamal Adams, he's from Texas. He's a Cowboys fan, I believe, growing up as a kid. If they call and they say, is Jamal Adams on the trading block? And if you're the GM, do you say immediately, I just told Jamal Adams that we won't trade him, but I wouldn't mind listening if you want to give me a first-round pick for this or 2 first-round picks or whatever you're thinking? What do you do if you're the GM? Well, I think if you're the GM, you don't tell Jamal Adams to begin with that you would never, ever, ever be traded and set up that expectation to begin with. Now, they're in the middle of contract negotiations, allegedly for an extension. It's not going well. And Jamal Adams put out a very lengthy post in response to somebody who basically questioned him for wanting to trade or want an extension. Basically, he was saying this. I have time this morning, by the way, Jonathan Abrams. Do y'all just speak without understanding what y'all are typing or nah? Oh, I see what this is. I deserve to be paid, but when I ask to be taken care of, I'm being that guy, huh? What does Pat, not me, by the way.
You sure?
Now, when John Elway said this one's for Pat, potentially me. Okay. This one, not me. This is a different Pat, okay? This is Pat
Mahomes.
What does Pat have to do with me? Pat is about to get 40 to 60 M's a year. Well-deserved. That's my guy. But don't compare me to quarterbacks if you aren't paying me quarterback money. Shh. If I was about to get 40 plus, you wouldn't hear a damn word from me. Amen. And then he says, LOL, for real, for real. Don't use the pandemic excuse. Christian McCaffrey got paid not too long ago. Well-deserved. Great friend of mine. You're lost, my guy. I'm going to protect myself just like an organization will look out for themselves at the end of the day. And if you guys don't respect that, cool. It's all love. Maybe it's time to move on, okay? So that last sentence that he responded to, somebody else, Jonathan Abrams, not even to the Jets or anything else like that, was talking about how he's trying to probably work an extension. He thinks he should be paid, which, by the way, 2-time Pro Bowler and a rookie contract. I don't think you're that wrong or out of line to ask for a potential extension here. But now it's time to move on. Then the headline followed up after that a couple hours later that Jamal Adams is seeking a trade from the Jets. And then he even listed off teams, his agent or his representative listed off teams that he would potentially land or want to go to. Here are the 7 teams to which Jets Pro Bowl safety Jamal Adams will welcome a trade per source. That source right there, I can almost guarantee, is Mr. Jamal Adams' agent talking directly to Adam Schefter. The Ravens, great team. Cowboys, will they be a great team? They don't have a quarterback yet. If he wants to get paid, that might be a tough place to get paid because they're paying everybody around there except for their quarterback who's due $33 million if he signs his franchise tag on July 15th. The Texans, okay, there's a team that could potentially go on a run. Billy O's stooge. He just traded away DeAndre Hopkins, their best player, for a fourth-round draft pick to do who knows what. Will he want to bring him in? Who knows? Chiefs, they don't have enough money to pay Jamal Adams if he wanted to go there. Eagles, I think they do have money. I believe they do have money that could potentially get him. So maybe the Eagles are a nice landing spot, like a guy named Spin said during the break. 49ers, great team. Maybe need a safety. Seahawks, great team. So this is who Jamal Adams said he would welcome a trade if it was to happen. These 7 teams that are all very good teams, potentially great teams, but some of them are a bit cap-strapped more so than the Jets even are. So that's going to be a difficult decision. But I think if you look at this at the end of the day, I think Jamal Adams sees the dumpster fire that is the New York Jets and says, hey, man, I am a very good player. I know I'm a very good player. The world knows I'm a good player. I get voted in the Pro Bowls. I'm in the AFC East over here. Even against Tom Brady the last couple years, I've made Pro Bowls. I've done my thing. Listen, I'm not going to have my entire career be wasted, especially if it's being wasted at an organization that the GM would lie right to my face, which is how he's feeling. Get me the hell out of here. I think that's what it is at the end of the day. Mike Francesa, Sports Pope, had a hilarious reaction to this news yesterday. He said they should trade Jamal Adams for 2 reasons. One, he's never going to be happy, which we don't know if that's true. If he said if he's got $40 million a year or whatever the right price was, he'd be happy for real, you wouldn't hear a word. He said that, so I don't know if that's accurate. And then the second thing he said, they lose with him, they can lose without him. That's what we got to think about, though. The Jets have not been a winning organization for some time now. If you're a great player and there's a business dispute and potentially a personal dispute with the front office, I mean, you're probably going to want to get out of that sinking ship as fast as possible, but they control all the cards over there, whether or not they want to move one of their best players that they've had in a long, long time.
Yeah, I saw that the Jets were like, we're not trading him, but if I were the Jets and I saw the Texans on that list, I'd be thrilled because I'd immediately call Billy O'Stooge and say Jamal Adams for Deshaun Watson and 2 firsts and see if he takes it.
Well, and I think Billy O'Stooge potentially does pull the trigger on that one, but they like Sam Darnold. Right? Maybe. I don't know. Sam Darnold was drafted before Gase got there. Le'Veon Bell deal was created before Gase got there. Gase does not like Le'Veon Bell, is what everybody says. Mm-hmm. Now, that could be wrong. That is just hearsay. But this Jamal Adams situation feels like he just wants to get the hell out of a sinking ship. And I don't blame him, by the way. I don't blame him. Now, the Jets drafted Braden Mann, punter from Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. Will that turn them into a Super Bowl caliber team? Potentially.
Possible.
Joining us now is a man who is an absolute legend in the McAfee household growing up. All of Pittsburgh loved him. He was a man at once in the NFL. He played quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, offensive line, defensive line, safety, punt returner, kicker, and punter. At college at Colorado, he's known for the Hail Mary to beat Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, / Kordell Stewart.
What's up, guys?
Kordell, what's going on?
How we doing?
I'm great, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem, man. I just, I'm at the gym with my son. I had to come back in this coffin corner back here to find a quiet spot. So the noise you hear in the background is I'm in the gym, guys. I'm in the gym.
Well, I would expect nothing less, by the way. One of the greatest athletes this world has ever seen. I don't want to – this is kind of a weird question. How old are you now, Kordell?
I'm 47 years young.
Damn.
I know. Time has flown by, hasn't it?
How ahead of your time do you think you were in the NFL? Do you ever think about that? You have to think about that. I would assume that is something that you have to think about.
Man, truthfully, being unselfish, it's a pleasure to see that scouts, commentators, the fan base even, are really open and appreciative of just talented football players. Right? Because sometimes we get so caught up into the tradition of what we think it should look like and should be, to the point where guys who do have talent and can't play the position get left behind or even have to move and play other positions at one point in time. If they didn't have the coaches around to help these young men evolve, because the game is about developing. I'm coaching quarterbacks and receivers at the high school where my son goes. He's a cornerback. He plays receiver and kick returner. And what you learn as a coach is in Little League, you're developing kids. Middle school, you're developing kids. High school, college. When you get to the pros, because of the business side of things, you sometimes automatically assume because monies and where you came from and things that you've accomplished up until that point, it should be like that throughout the duration. And sometimes guys don't have the right trainers or can continue to train like they did during the off season and when they came out of college. But you sometimes hope you can get it while you're at the organizations. And the only times you can get it is in those small spurts, right? You got OTAs, you got the mini camps, you got the big camps. And the unfortunate is, truthfully, it's a business. That's the unfortunate side of it on the National Football League level, to where sometimes when it comes to developing, it kind of, father time kicks in too. Let's be transparent, right? Father time kicks in too. But you just want to give these guys an opportunity, just like we saw the Steve Youngs, who was horrible when he was in Tampa. I think he went through the USFL run to then sitting with Bill Walsh and sitting behind the Joe Montanas of the world, and then became a Hall of Famer because he had a chance to sit and learn, and they were patient enough with him to give him that chance. And now he has a yellow jacket because of the patience of the coaching staff.
Let's talk about your story through this entire thing, because I assume that is what you're referring to. Because when you came out of Colorado, do you think you weren't a good enough quarterback yet to be in the NFL? Jog my memory a little bit. Did you start out at wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or how did it go?
So to your first question, when I was coming out of college, I had Rick Neuheisel as my quarterbacks coach my senior year. I only lost, I think, 3 or 4 games throughout my career at University of Colorado as a starter, 3-year starter. So my work was great. When you look back on it, because sometimes when I watch the highlights, you watch it on Instagram sometimes, because they have this legends things they do, and sometimes they show some of the players that came through the institution that were great players. And I look at some of the throws I was making. I'm like, who is that guy? Right?
75-yard bomb. That Hail Mary against Michigan was 75 in the air. That was just next level.
You listen to the four-letter network, and they say 62 to 64 yards. I'm like, guys, that's 10 more yards, bro. I can't let you cut me short on where it left my hand, even though they have the unofficial and the official distance. I say both of those distances were 74 yards in the air. So,
listen, as a punter, Kordell, I will let you know I very much understand that, because we don't get any credit for the 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage that we punt the ball. It's only from the line of scrimmage. It's all BS. I'm on your side here.
Yeah, when you talk about your hip flexors and your hamstrings from punting the ball so much, even though it was a 55-yard punt, what about when you're sitting back there extra 10 yards? You got to give that to you because it came off the foot from that distance.
They give it to the kickers, Kordell. They don't give it to us. They give it to the kickers. The kicker is from the spot. They don't give it to the quarterbacks or the punters. That's why I've said quarterbacks and punters basically the same people.
Yeah, the same people. And here's the thing. They've changed so many rules. I think if enough kickers and quarterbacks, when it comes to making those throws, complain enough, I think we might get ours changed too when it comes to the yardage. But
let's write it down.
Yeah, when I came out of college, quarterback was my thing. Lee Steinberg was my agent. There were conversations about if I would go to Canada, I could be a top pick in Canada. To him telling me he had Warren Moon as one of his clients. African-American quarterback who had a great arm. Think about the yards he threw in Canada. It was unbelievable. Then came to the National Football League and did another excellent job to where he ended up getting the yellow jacket because he was capable of enduring. But Lee gave me the visual of understanding that, are you committed to being a quarterback? I said, most definitely. So I go to the Hula Bowl, which was our senior bowl. MVP, MVP in our actual team bowl game against Notre Dame. Went to the combine, I lit it up. And it went from me potentially being in the 6th round because they wasn't thinking about the mobile quarterback being a top draft pick like they are today, to all of a sudden being the 60th pick overall going to the Steelers, coming in behind quarterbacks like the late Steve McNair, Kerry Collins, and Todd Collins, and then I was the 4th quarterback taken to the Steelers. And once I got to the Steelers, as they asked me in my interview when I was at the combine, if we needed you to help out somewhere else, would you? And what you think I'm going to say, Pat? Of course I would.
Anything for the team to win. Anything for the team.
Of course, you say the cliche thing, the diplomatic thing to make sure you get an opportunity. And honestly, when I got there, they didn't ask me to do the slash thing. That ended up being something where Neil O'Donnell got injured. Mike Tomczak had to come in. We played against the Detroit Lions. Barry Sanders broke Rod Woodson down, tore his knee. To Charles Johnson, he had an injury. I mean, there was a tremendous, and I think we were down we were 2-4 at the time. And I'm helping out in practice on scout team, just doing whatever, just to stay in shape instead of sitting back there being like a typical traditional quarterback doing nothing. I mean, I'm just being transparent.
That sounded like some shots there. I just want to let that.
And so, I help, and then before you know it, Neil O'Donnell and I had a conversation. I said, Neil, I'm gonna start moving around as you're throwing the ball and we're warming up. And as I was moving, he was throwing it to me, and all of a sudden he talked around. He said, Kordell, you think you could play receiver? And at that time, Neil was coming back. I was like, heck yeah, I could. I'm like, I'd do whatever it takes to help us win. And before you know it, Chan Gailey was my receivers coach. He became creative. Before you know it, I get a snap and from the shotgun to throw the ball to Yancey Thigpen in the flat against Cleveland Browns on Monday night, reverse the field, throw it to Ernie Mills in the back of the end zone. Myron Cope gets on the radio, said, it's slash. Kordell Stewart, he comes out and he makes a great play. Look at the guy slash and dash, he went. So it became a phenomenon, man, and it was arguably my best year, I would say, in football throughout my entire life, because I got on the football field and played the game in the National Football League like we all did as kids, right? Growing up. I played quarterback, I played running back, I played wide receiver, and I even did your job. I punted a couple times. And so, jack of all trades, master at nothing, but it helped us get to the next level. And after that, that's when it kind of transitioned to being a quarterback.
Okay, so let's talk about Taysom Hill. Because this seems like the closest thing. Because a lot of people that grew up in Pittsburgh, whenever we see Taysom Hill operate, we go, this is kind of what we were doing with Slash there for a little bit. He's throwing the ball. He's getting big completions, wide receiver. Sean Payton has been very open. He's been, hey, we think Taysom Hill is going to be our quarterback whenever Drew Brees is done. Now, they bring in Jameis Winston for a 1-year, $1 million deal. Everybody's assuming Drew's going to be done after this year. What do you think about Taysom Hill whenever you watch him play? And do you think he'll be able to follow in your footsteps to become a full-time quarterback?
I mean, that remains to be seen, to be honest. There will be that question mark of, can he lead a team by being a full-time quarterback, as I had in Pittsburgh. They thought it was a joke, that a guy who catches the ball this well, who's one of the fastest, if not the fastest on the team, outrunning secondary players, running across the middle better than some of our first-round draft picks, then ask him to come in and play quarterback and need him to be accurate. They didn't think it could work. Now, Taysom Hill has to prove that he can do it, as far as being behind the helm, calling the plays, calling the shots, timeouts, managing the game. Can he get the team to the playoffs? All of those things. We've seen it done once before. The question now, can he actually do it? And I think it remains to be seen. For us being able to transition from doing all the different things to then being just a full-time quarterback. And I'm going to tell you, depending on who's supporting cast is, as far as the coaching staff and the organization is concerned, had a phone call come in. That's why I kind of blinked.
Yeah, was that Bill Cowher or was that Bill?
It wasn't Bill Cowher. It becomes one of those situations where you have to set the system up for him to gradually grow into it. And then as he finds his niche, then I think you can then depend on it 100%. But I think he has enough ability. He's proven that to be able to play the game. It's just once just being a quarterback, that becomes the daunting task. That's the unknown until we actually have an opportunity to see him do it.
What's interesting to me is because whenever we got to see you play, and how all the accolades you just read off about how fast you were and being able to throw a ball on a buck. I mean, you led the Steelers to the AFC Championship game as a quarterback. I mean, that is a tall task. Not a lot of people have done that. Did you expect maybe the mobile quarterback to get a little bit more rub early, because Lamar Jackson's going to completely flip this game on his head. The Wildcat quarterback thing that Miami Dolphins tried, I think it was like 8 years ago, that was just a fad and then it left. And now Lamar Jackson's kind of taking it to this next level because he is the most athletic person on the field. Michael Vick there for a little bit, obviously he had a hell of a run. But do you think do you think the game is evolving as you watch it and it's like, you know what, maybe I was just 20 years ahead of my time. I would have been the guy here.
I think if you go back to college football and you watch the mobility of quarterbacks, I don't care what their nationality is, they're mobile nowadays.
Yeah.
The speed of the defensive linemen are getting faster as we speak, literally. That is the future of our league, the kids that are coming up. And the way the game has changed when it comes to RPOs nowadays on the offense side of football. See, because when I played, we didn't do Wildcat. You know, it wasn't the RPOs. It was traditional 1-step on the 1 yard line, throwing the fade route, 3-step drop, 5-step drop, 7-step drop, bootlegs, quarterback draws, all of that good stuff. And it was the traditional way of running a team. Nowadays, they are actually adapting to bringing that RPO system in. Run pass option to the point where the ability of the quarterbacks are putting them on the perimeter to utilize their skill set as a Lamar Jackson, even though it's not the RPO system.
Hey, you had to watch that, though. You have to watch that and just be like, wait a minute. So I just have to, I got a fake run here, and I'm just reading the end. And if he crashes, I'm keeping. If not, I'm going. I mean, that you have to watch that and just be like, damn it, why didn't we have this in whenever I was in Pittsburgh? You guys could have.
But my thing is, we didn't have to have it, though. You know, in Pittsburgh, it was what we were doing was working.
Hell yeah!
Again, I'll give you this story.
Hell yeah!
And my career in Pittsburgh was controversial because no one was buying into it for the most part. I mean, when it worked, everybody was happy. When it didn't work, on to the next guy. Plain and simple, right? So, Dick Hockey, the legendary coach, running backs coach, was there in Pittsburgh, Penn State guy, played for the Steelers, then coached for the Steelers. To Dan Rooney, the late Dan Rooney, who was like a father figure, so to speak. He was such a great man. To even Coach Cowher. All three of these guys told me that if I would have played wide receiver, I could have gone to the Hall of Fame. Now,
oh boy,
right.
Yeah.
So when I hear this, I'm saying to myself, because we just talked about if I could have done all the RPO stuff, I could have lasted. I'm like, I didn't have to do the RPO stuff. We were running a traditional offense, and 2 years out of the 6 years I was starting, we went to the AFC Championship game. The other years we were going back and forth of trying to figure out who the coordinator was going to be, because you had 5 coordinators out of 8 years. And of my time being there, I had Mike Mularkey, Ray Sherman, Kevin Gilbride, Mike Mularkey again, and Ron Earhart. So I've had 4 out of some time. So when you have these conversations, you then say, okay, Coach Cowher said I was playing quarterback, but I was the best receiver on the field. I'm like, were they really bought in to the great lengths to say, this is our guy, right? You know, this is who we're – don't say you gave me a chance and the only time it works by giving me a chance is when I'm playing great. I'm talking about through the ups and the downs, literally. You know, we're doing the moving chairs of quarterbacks, Kent Graham's, and so when you ask the question, if we could have done that, I could have lasted. Not in Pittsburgh, because that's not what they were looking for in Pittsburgh, and we didn't even go that far to playing that style of offense. We were doing a traditional thing, and you know, when I look back on it, when leaving Pittsburgh before I went to Chicago, you know, the record was a winning record. The touchdown interception ratio was more touchdowns than interceptions. And I'm like, you know, that style of quarterbacking could not have existed as long as it did for Donovan McNabb in Philly under Andy Reid, to what happened with Michael Vick, to a Russell Wilson for the sake of conversation, to a Deshaun Watson, okay? Steve Young, if you want to throw Steve Young in that comment. Even Aaron Rodgers. I sometimes get disappointed with Aaron Rodgers because he doesn't run enough. because he's so athletic.
He is. By the way, there's a sneaky athletic dude right there, Aaron Rodgers. He'll get on the edge sometimes. He'll start high stepping too around people. Then he'll unstrap the chin strap and just start.
But he needs to do it more. You know, he needs to do it more because he has the ability to do it.
But Kordell, everybody says if you do that, you're going to get hurt. Everybody says that about Lamar. They're like, oh, Lamar's one hit away from getting hurt.
Just put your chin strap on and put on your outfit and just.
Oh!
Hell yeah! You can get hurt doing that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can get hurt sitting at your locker trying to put your cleats on, catching a cramp in your hammy, and then try to pull it out. And you pull it. You know, it's like no, you know, and I think until we get to the point. Well, we have to understand in order, and I know Tom Brady and if you will, the Peyton Mannings to, we could keep going to the Dan Marinos, to the Jim Kellys. You know, that was in the AFC where, you know, it's a copycat league, right? So if that style of quarterback is winning championships, what do? You're going to try to find that kind of quarterback. But in the NFC, what were the guys that was actually getting it done? It was the mobile quarterback. So you had the Randall Cunningham. So you had the Michael Vicks. So you had the Donovan McNabbs, right?
Yeah.
So it just kept on going. Steve Young. It just kept on going. Jeff Garcia. Aaron Rodgers, right? It just kept on going in the NFC as far as the mobile quarterback, and in the AFC was the pocket passer. So the game has evolved to where they're going to have no choice at some point in time to where out of 32 teams, Patrick Mahomes, he's a mobile quarterback. His football field he plays on is 60 yards. It's not 100. Because he can sling that thing wherever he wants to.
Agreed.
Right?
Yep.
The other team's offense is at a disadvantage because there's no other quarterback that could sling it the way he does at any moment. Like when you see him drop back and he scrambles, it's not as if the receivers that were going deep actually come back short and go deep again. They're steadily going deep. They're not coming back. And I mean, when you throw it to Tyreek Hill as fast as he is, the ball catches up with him and he's a cheetah. So I'm like, you know, the game has changed, man. And I think the philosophy for me as a guy who played the game from the pocket but had the ability to get outside of it, I'm just glad the commentators, the same guys who were saying it was a great throw to the mobile quarterback in the past, are now saying today with the mobile quarterback, great pass, right?
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, they used to say, such a great athlete, all right? To where actually great movement in the pocket and staying and making a phenomenal. You know, it's a different dialogue. You just go back and watch some of the film. I watch it sometimes. It's hilarious. You know, because my ears are hypersensitive to it because I was the mobile quarterback.
Well, and those were the things that were being said about you, I assume, in a bad way. Like, yeah, he can throw good, but is he a pocket pat? Like, that is a very interesting thing, the way to look at that. I never even would have thought of it.
Right, because, you know, it again, and then you'll have some that would say, you know, he's disgruntled, he's upset. Listen, guys. The game was played differently back. We don't even talk about Jeff Blake anymore. Remember Jeff Blake in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I do. I didn't, by the way, until right then. That moment that you just said right there, Jeff Blake.
Like, seriously, right? Like, the quarterbacks in that era, it was almost like it went from the Randall Cunninghams and the Steve McNairs to jumped all the way over to the Michael Vicks, right? There's nothing in between that's talked about when it comes to the mobile quarterbacks that played the game. And Jeff Blake was a mobile quarterback. And he threw that moon ball to Darnay Scott and Carl Pickens when we played in Cincinnati to the point where it seemed like it went out of the stadium and came back in.
Great throw.
You know?
Great throw.
Touchdowns. And so, you know, it's amazing how the game has evolved again and how you listen to the game because, you know, if you don't evolve as commentators, I mean, I think you lose your audience because we know what we're looking at. And I think nowadays they're doing a really good job. And the best thing about it is I'm still young. You know, I'm not old and decrepit. You know, I'm more. Let's call it refined. Right?
There you go. There you go.
I'm refined. I'm working out with my son. He's killing me. You know, and I'm trying to keep up with him. He wants to beat me every time, and now he's beating me and running now. So, it's good to see the game evolving the way it's evolving. And being able to cover it the way we do because it makes me excited, you know, to see these young players come out and play and see the Andy Reid still sticking to the guns of taking an incarcerated Michael Vick and bringing him in and making him the MVP of the league, the time in which he did, and letting him be himself, to the Deshaun Watsons, to the Russell Wilsons, to the Patrick Mahomes. I mean, even the Andrew Lucks, for the sake of conversation, before he retired.
He was
one of the most physical quarterbacks running the ball, which I think was part of his demise of not being in the game anymore because he ended up getting injured a lot. So, I love mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah, you should.
I love when the quarterback is the fastest on the field. I love it, because it makes your job easy, right? All you start doing is start pooch punting.
Hey, it was very. Hey, when I had Peyton there for a while, and then we had Luck, and I was just like, all right, here we go. If it's third and less than 4, let's assume Luck is going to run through somebody. Hold on one second. We got to get to a break on radio. We'll stay on YouTube. The radio, incredible conversation with Kordell Stewart. We'll be back in the second hour. Terrell Davis will be joining us, plus talking all other things happening in our magical world. It's Juneteenth. Look into it. Learn a little bit about it. We're back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Cordell, whenever we had Luck, that big son of a bitch, dude, when he started, whenever he showed up, dude, he was as big as a defensive end.
Dude, I'm telling you.
And he could sling that thing. But you're 100% right, though. The way that they talked about it was always like, this is a quarterback, this is a quarterback. And then whenever you get like a full mobile guy, it's always like great athlete playing quarterback.
Great athlete.
Yeah, it has been very interesting to watch it all change. I want to let you know this, Cordell. You gave the McAfee family quite a thrill as children. I wish you were playing still to this day. And I can't thank you enough for joining us today, boss man.
Yeah, no problem. This is my son. Let you see my son right here.
Yeah. Where's he going to school?
Say what's up.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, we're getting after some mitts right there. Mitt work. Huh?
Right,
we jamming people. We jamming people at the line.
Yeah, we're doing a little corner. We're doing a little corner work.
Flip those. Come back. Hey, he cut on a dime there, Cordell.
He did.
Yeah, he's faster than you said?
He's pretty quick. He's doing some good stuff. We got him going to the elite underclassmen camp next Saturday, which puts him in position to be a part of the Future 50.
Yeah.
And also the All-American game. So
what year is
Deion Sanders going to be? He's a senior. He just turned 17 in May.
Where's he going to go?
So he's young.
And where does he want to go? Does he want to follow your footsteps? Where do you guys live now? Are you in Colorado, California? Where you at?
Well, you know me. I'm like, I want him to go where Daddy went. If I had my choices, he would go where I went. So but whatever they give him, I'm ready to see him get it. So.
Well, hopefully there'll be another. Hey, he's got a little hip flip there, Cordell, huh? I mean, I guess he got it from his dad.
It's in there.
It's in there.
Well, the coach right there almost hurting himself right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kordell Stewart. Thank you, Cordell. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, guys. Anytime, man. You know how it goes, guys. It's all about, sharing the love and just talking about the thing I love to do most, which is playing football. And as we were on break just now, you saw my son out there getting a little work, and that's what it's all about for me, man. It's seeing that young rascal get it in, and hopefully allow that DNA to kick in at some point in time to where he can be his own little beast, hopefully.
Well, I hope so. You were a beast whenever I got a chance to watch you. I hope that you stay in the game. You're great at talking about it. You're the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Kordell Stewart.
Yes!
Thank you, Cordell. Woo! So,
Thank you,
hey, no problem. Man, a little trip down memory lane there as a child. It was crazy to think about, like, what a throw. Like, the way because those are probably things that were being said to him throughout his entire career. He's like, hey, every other quarterback, it's like, great pass there. Look at the precision on the pass. And then he would do a 70-yard bomb down the sideline in a bucket. Oh, what a throw there. What a very athletic throw there. That is something that, by the way, I think we're all kind of – that was interesting to hear him talk about it, but that's the type of stuff that I think was kind of coming to the forefront just a couple weeks ago.
When he was talking about the announcers and how they did that, like that's kind of shaped the turmoil in Pittsburgh when he was there, because no matter what he did, everyone who was watching the game was always expecting inaccuracy and stuff like that. So whenever he was, it led to believing that, and then whenever he wasn't, it was just like, he can make a throw like that every once in a while. So it was a very roller coaster career. And imagine losing your job after going to an AFC championship after a 13-3 season to Tommy Maddox coming out of the XFL. Like, that doesn't happen to probably someone who isn't a mobile quarterback at that time.
The interesting thing there is the commentators, have a real important duty when they're calling games. And the only reason why I ever wanted to get into the booth to call games is because when I retired and I started watching games and listening to the people that were talking in games, I was like, oh, these motherfuckers don't know anything. Like, that is actually what I was thinking, because obviously, now granted, I didn't play quarterback. I mean, I was a quarterback. I do have 2 pass attempts in NFL games, one of them being completion, almost touchdown on Thanksgiving. You get it. Although I didn't play all those positions, I got a chance to be front row for all this stuff. And watching and listening to the things that I learned in practice and in meetings and day-to-day basis and with the greatest of all time and stuff like that was much different than what the commentators were saying. And the commentators, a lot of them, not all of them obviously, but a lot of them were pointing out all the negative shit. And it's like, yo, I feel like you could just, that negative thing you just saw, I would assume that on the direct opposite side, something good was happening. It's almost like the commentators got jaded by it, and that type of mood environment sets the tone for everybody that's watching the game. So I always said, I want to get in there and turn this some bitch back into a celebration, because that's what football is, a celebration, but I didn't have enough couth for the booth.
Philip Rivers.
Didn't have enough couth for the booth.
Philip Rivers talks about it all the time. He talks about the bad stuff. What about the good stuff?
What about the good stuff? Hey, let's have a good time here. This guy is a stud. He just led the Steelers to the AFC Championship game, and now we got to deal with this. Good morning, beautiful people. It is Friday, June 19th. Also an unofficial holiday named Juneteenth, which is a massive day, June 19th, in 1865, when in Texas they liberated some slaves. They signed legislature to free some slaves in Texas, and then it took a little bit to free the rest of the slaves, and we're still in that process of hopefully making the world as good as it possibly can. But on June 19th, 1865, the wheel started in motion. The unofficial holiday named Juneteenth should probably be one that we institute into official holiday, because I am kind of embarrassed as a 33-year-old that I had no idea that existed until the last couple of days, whenever it was starting to get introduced into things. And that is what I believe a lot of the conversation revolved around the last couple of weeks whenever we're talking about protests. Happy that we're becoming a less judgmental world, a more knowledgeable world. And here we are on this Friday, June 19th. Jeez. Kordell Stewart just joined us. Literally just got off the phone with him 3 minutes ago in the first hour. What a conversation about how football has changed since whenever he was the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers to now. You got to remember, Kordell was known as Slash because he was able to play wide receiver. He was able to play quarterback. He was able to play corner. He was a punter at one point. He was everything. And then whenever he got into quarterback, he said that it was very interesting the way he was talked about. He led 2 AFC championships games for the Pittsburgh Steelers as starting quarterback, and all anybody could ever talk about was whether or not he was going to be an accurate passer whenever he was running a pocket passer offense. So I think Kordell Stewart is excited to see where the game is at, and I love talking to that man. Does he do the TV? Is he on TV?
I don't know, to be honest.
He used to be on, I think it was ESPN he used to be on.
The 4-letter network?
He did say the 4-letter network, so that means something was said on ESPN about him in the past, and I don't know if I want to know about it, but it must have been real because Kordell was not happy. He wouldn't even say the letters.
Think about this. Imagine the reaction today if Lamar Jackson was in a typical pro-style offense with Jerome Bettis and a fullback behind him, and they were just running it just like a pro-style offense and not taking advantage of his athleticism.
Well, that's kind of what was happening whenever they had the Joe Flacco offense in there, right? And then that's why when Harbaugh decided to go all in, I wonder if the Baltimore Ravens franchise was like, hey, you remember what the Steelers did with Kordell? Let's not do that. Let's take advantage of what we have here with Lamar Jackson. They go all in, do triple tight end sets, add in more blockers, free him up a little bit more, give him space to roam and the opportunity to do the things. And by the way, Lamar also had like one of the highest passer ratings in the NFL last year as well. I mean, Kordell Stewart was ahead of his time. Great conversation. Very thankful for him. Terrell Davis joins us this hour in 28 minutes. Can't wait to chat with him. The Mile High Salute was a real phenomenon back in the day. It's been a nice trip down nostalgia lane here on Flashback Friday, June 19th. Joining me at Nick Moraldo is here. Nick Moraldo found his AFL club of choice. They got demolished this morning.
Yeah, on the scoreboard. But if you're matching up bruises and fists and feet, I think they did the talking and they won there.
So you like that your team is potentially a bunch of goons. Like you like that your team, although they might not get the W, they are going to get the last laugh whenever it comes to fisticuffs, biffs, and fighting on the pitch.
I'll be honest, I did not look at the record when I chose the team. I did not understand that they had not won the premiership yet in the AFL. But now you just got to take what you got, and they're a bunch of.
Oh,
good-
so you don't even want to be fans of this?
Oh, no.
You don't even want to be a
what do you
fan.
mean?
Oh,
no.
Come, Nick.
Yeah, it sure sounds like you're
I'm
like,
looking
"Wow,
at the
just try to take
positives
that- these
of the
teams
team.
stink."
I'm
Seems
looking at
that
the
could
positives
be-
of the team, and I'm supporting them in any way I can. And if they're going to beat the hell out of the other team on the pitch,
I don't know. That's what they say in soccer. I don't know if that's what they say.
Nick, I got a positive
then
for
I'm
you.
for 'em.
I have a positive for you. They have the 4th highest odds to win the premiership this year.
Look at that.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
favored by $1.60 today too, and they got smoked. So
They got absolutely crushed this morning and got into quite a couple scuffles there at the end because they were frustrated, which you got to love that passion. But they take on the Collingwood Magpies next week. And I'll tell you what, if Coxhill is back on the field and any of your goons from the Giants go after his-
bloodbath.
No, I might have to kick you out of the studio. Might have to do it. At Tone Diggs is here. He's going to get some Geelong Cats gear. Don't know if that's going to ever be hung in this studio, but we'll see how that goes. No. You and the Geelong Cats have really become like a tight thing.
Oh, yeah.
You
Like-
became internet official yesterday.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they're a Rust Belt kind of team. They got a Steelers fan running their defensive coordinator position. So, I mean, we just fit perfectly.
And they do what? They just stomped somebody the other day, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, they stomped Hawthorne, who decided to open their fat mouths and try to talk some.
The hell's that about?
I forgot. Couldn't remember if we were on just YouTube or on radio.
Yeah, we are on radio currently.
I mean, after getting stomped by the Geelong Cats, that Hawthorne coach comes out and says they're not good. So I don't know what to.
Oh, that was the thing that I added you in,
yeah,
was the
yeah,
press
yeah.
conference.
I mean,
where-
everyone's jealous of the Geelong Cats and Gary Ablett Jr. and his father and the heritage of the program and the stripes.
At Ty Schmidt is here. Have you found an AFL team that you appreciate? Do you like the sport? I would like to let Australians know if they are just tuning in now for hour 2. We have not been paid by the AFL or any of the teams. We just so happen to be a sports talk show that has fallen in love with a sport that none of us knew existed until a couple months ago. Ty Schmidt, have you picked a team yet?
Not quite yet.
So you hate America too?
No. I'm a big Coxie guy, but I am circling around potentially the Brisbane Lions.
Why?
Okay. I tell you what, they got a great emblem. Great emblem. And I don't think I've seen them play yet, but I did see that they're not too bad. I need a dog that's going to be there when the playoffs come.
Yeah,
you know?
we need a team that's in it towards the end.
Exactly, because I looked, Fremantle, we've been talking about them a little bit. People are saying they stink. Don't really want to cheer for a team that's not going to be there.
No, if you can pick a team, if you were able to pick an NFL team, why would you just be like, you know what, I'm picking the Lions?
Exactly.
Like, nobody would do that.
Right.
That's why Fremantle is my team.
See, but you had a choice here. You were forced into the Lions. At this particular thing, we literally didn't even know the sport existed until a couple
slate.
months. You could have picked any team. Any team.
The Fremantle Dockers, all right, it's been a long road. 25 years have not won the premiership, but they're just like the Lions. When we do win it, it's going to be the greatest day of
Why
our
do you
lives.
have to be miserable? You don't have to be miserable anymore. Like
I'm
Nick,
not just going to jump on the bandwagon of the best team, all right? I'm gonna
that's what we can do. You are allowed to do that
I wanted
right
to
now.
pick a team that represents what I'm about, and that's coming from the bottom to the top and winning the premiership.
Losing.
There is a team named the Lions as well.
Yeah, the Brisbane.
Brisbane Lions.
The
That's who I'm
Brisbane
circling
Lions.
around.
hometown of Chris Gaines.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
He's not wrong.
Chris Gaines is from Oklahoma. Okay, I watched a documentary. Chris Gaines is from Oklahoma. He moved to Nashville for one night, moved back to Oklahoma, then moved back to Nashville. I know Chris Gaines' life better than Chris Gaines.
from Brisbane.
No, he's not. He's from. That's unbelievable to me. So you were the Brisbane. You don't even know what you don't even know if they're good. You have no idea. You've never seen them play.
Decent in the standings. Have not seen them play yet. I did go through the roster. Got some great names on there, so that's all.
Collingwood Magpies, for instance, supposed to be a good team.
Oh yeah. Well, obviously
No,
we're
no,
going to
no.
support Coxie no matter
They
what.
tied
but-
the Richmond Tigers 36-36 the first week, and then the Richmond Tigers lost by 200 points to the Hawthorn Hawks the next week. What is that saying about the Collingwood Magpies? And also, if Coxie isn't in for the next couple weeks because he is injured and hasn't been cleared yet, my fanhood is going to be tested. And I would like to let everybody know that I'm a Magpies guy through and through.
Yeah.
Until I'm not.
Until you're not.
No, I am. I'm going to be a Magpies guy. I have to be. But I might pick up a second or third team
Yeah.
just in case the Magpies stink. Which
They
I
still
hope.
have the best odds to win the premiership.
Which is interesting to me because they did tie the team that lost by 100. And I don't know how the sport works. I don't know if teams show up later or do different styles or match up differently against teams. You know, maybe like one team has another team's number. I'm not 100% sure if that is what happened with the Hawthorn Hawks and the Richmond Tigers the other day. But I am worried about the Magpies potentially not. No, I'm not worried about them. They're gonna They're gonna win tonight at 2:30 or tomorrow morning. Tonight at 2:30 a.m. They're gonna win probably by 70 if I had to guess.
Yeah.
They still got side bottom.
Steel Sidebottom's still rocking his thing. He's still doing his thing. Jason McAfee's here, I think. At Viva Lazito is here. How's it going, Z?
It's been amazing.
Z, do you like the sport of the AFL?
I do.
Who's your team?
Who's your team?
So I just did some research. The Gold Coast Suns.
Suns play tonight, 11:45.
Oh, yeah.
The Suns play the Lions
Chicago
tonight.
has a Gold Coast. They have a Gold Coast. I am one with them.
I believe their Gold Coast is a little bit more famous than Chicago's Gold Coast.
Oh, it is very wealthy over there in the Gold Coast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's actually sunscreen, I think, called the Gold Coast sunscreen. Yeah. I think there's an entire
I was always
thing.
the one with the, was it Little Debbie? No.
The girl with the dog.
Yeah, who was her?
Who was her?
This is a guy who. Nah, I'm not saying it.
Go ahead.
There was people tweeting me telling me to kick you off the show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Coppertone.
I still stand by. He did sound like Rocky.
Oh, you can't do that.
No, it's Double Jeopardy.
That's
I
not
plead the fifth.
double. No, that is what you should have done earlier. But instead, you did speak, and you made it even worse. At Evan Fox is here. Evan Fox likes cheering for terrible teams in sports. That
Yeah, pretty much.
That's not what sports are about.
Plus 6,000 to win the premiership. I put the house on it today.
Good odds.
You could potentially get broken off her if the what's the team name?
Dockers from Fremantle.
They stink, don't they?
They're
plus
bad.
6,000.
They've never won it before, but you know what? 2020 has been a weird year, Pat.
has.
You might as well put your house on the Detroit Lions to win the Super Bowl, and then you might as well put your other house on the Fremantle Dockers to win the premiership.
Oh, 2 houses, this guy.
Jeez.
Jeez, living well,
Where's he
huh?
from?
Living much better than your teams are, and having a little bit more success, pal. 2 houses. Jeez Louise, country club kid.
I don't have 2 houses, but that just kind of is the only thing that came to my head.
Oh, you said if you did. This was
sure.
a
Yeah,
metaphorical
sure.
houses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, got it. At Boston Connors on the phones, 1-833-622-3331. You like the Eagles.
I love the EAGLES Eagles, and I'll tell you what, Ty Schmidt, they're taking on the Brisbane Lions. You want to go to war this weekend? We'll go to war, brother. We'll go to war, and the Eagles are going to slaughter your Lions, my friend.
All right.
see.
Mullet Man is also here. We will see that. Ty doesn't know anybody on the team.
Hugh McDuggage or something like that. First round pick. So
You guys got McDuggage? I didn't know the Lions have
yeah, they do
McDuggage.
have a draft.
They have a draft?
They do have a draft.
Big buckets?
Yeah,
Can we cover the draft next year?
third overall selection.
Really?
A couple years ago. Yeah, young gun. He's 22.
Do they have universities and
Yeah.
combines and all that?
Yeah,
Really?
I was reading about it last night because they have it's similar to like the Premier League in soccer. Like they have like
Youth
how you
teams?
come up like that, but then they do have the draft and universities.
Wow.
Do players stay?
GWS made the equivalent of the Super Bowl last year. They just lost. They're in a slump.
Losers.
You didn't even know that. You just Googled it. You just Googled
I'm
it.
Can't win the
learning.
big
Look at
game.
this guy, bandwagon fan, by the way, picking the team that was in the finals last year.
They've only been around for 8 years. I've been told.
Oh, new team.
What a joke, dude. What a joke, you.
We're building history.
Foxy, how do you feel about him just picking the team that's only been around 8 years already in the championship?
It's no surprise to me. He's a Steelers fan. I'm surprised he didn't just pick the best team in the nation.
So you admit the Steelers are
I'll take
the
that
best team in the
compliment.
league.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you.
Well, I think you're saying, but Steelers fans aren't bandwagon fans at all. They actually sell that place out.
Hell no.
That team can stink, and that place will be sold out.
So much ketchup.
And I'll be so excited to go there just to yell at the team for stinking, which is what they kind of did to Kordell Stewart, which maybe you guys should back off. A little bit.
I love Cordell.
His name is actually Hugh McLuggage.
Knew it was something like that.
McLuggage.
Even better.
Clugs is his nickname.
At Mullet Man has become a Western Bulldogs fan because one of their players has one of the best mullets that has ever existed on television. Every single time he pops up there, it's electric. Guy's a good player, too. Not scared to get in a scrap as well. You have a mullet, obviously you're a tough guy. Let's go through. Debo Samuel has a broken foot. Debo Samuel, who was on this show, he said that he traveled from Arizona, I believe, to Atlanta. To do workouts, or Florida. I don't know. Atlanta. I think he was working out in Atlanta with a bunch of players. This is a kind of a new thing. We saw videos of Sam Darnold throwing to Saquon Barkley last week. Cam Newton was throwing to, I believe, Debo Samuel. Alongside Tyrod Taylor was there as well. Players have been doing a lot of these workouts together in the offseason. I like it, by the way. If you get a chance to work with somebody else, you get a chance to kind of learn from them. OBJ and Cam Newton were working together. Now, granted, this is always going to stir some rumors about who wants to play with who wants to go where. And a lot of people are wondering, well, why isn't Saquon playing catch with Danny Dimes? Why isn't Deebo Samuel out there with Jimmy G? Why aren't they always working with their own quarterbacks? And I think that's a fair question because the timing and route running and things like that are a very big deal to the quarterback-wide receiver relationship. But if your quarterback isn't in the same region as you and you can go and get some work from another NFL quarterback, I think it's good news to go do it. But I could see how some fans would be like, well, why is Darnold throwing Saquon? What if Saquon starts catching and liking Sam Darnold's balls and he's like, excuse me, I want to get the hell out of here. I want to go to the Jets. Not that anybody in the history of the world has ever said, excuse me, I want to go to the Jets. But that is something that he could potentially do. I don't think that's going to happen. It's good work. Deebo Samuel breaks his foot in one of these workouts in Atlanta. He comes
Nashville, sorry.
Oh, it was in Nashville? He working out in Nashville? Was he down there with Dilfer?
Could be.
Was he down there with Dilfer, I wonder? Breaks his foot in Nashville. He says he'll be back in 10 weeks, which would be in time for the season. But it is alleged that somebody else who had the same injury tried to come back early, and it did not work out. Great for them. Deebo Samuel is a physical freak. He is a great wide receiver in the making. Last year, he was the slant god, took that thing everywhere, ran people over. His name's Deebo for a reason. He says he'll be back in 10 weeks. I don't know if that is the case or not. I'm not a doctor. I hope he does, though. The Niners need him. But this opens up potentially a wide receiver signing for the 49ers. Is that going to be Josh Gordon, who's trying to get reinstated, or is he going to stay with the Seattle Seahawks? There's Antonio Brown still out there. How about Percy Harvin, who's been running through parking garages as well? There's a lot of wide receivers that are very talented that are still out on the market. Well, the 49ers have to do that now that they know Deebo Samuel, one of their most productive guys last year, is potentially going to be sidelined early in the season.
Yeah, what was going around the internet yesterday was Akeem Nicks had the same injury after their Super Bowl run, and he was really never the same wide receiver after that. But to your point earlier, when you're talking about guys from different teams working out together, Tom's not. Tom's got that entire Tampa Bay Buccaneers team working out that high school.
It's a big deal. It is a big deal because the timing is everything. Now, granted, it's not playing against defense, and you're not going to have to get off of a press coverage if you're a wide receiver. But I remember watching Peyton Manning now, and that guy, they had workouts at a high school field here and in a college field here, and I would just go up there and I'd kick some balls inside and then just kind of watch it. Watching them just hit the same route, like they would do the same route like 100 times. It was just like the same thing just so he could get that perfect time. Now, he didn't have as strong of an arm at that point of his career as he had in the past or other quarterbacks had, so he relied on that timing and that knowledge of each other and that relationship with the wide receiver in a big, big way. That's why every time you see passes from Peyton, it's basically getting dropped right in a bucket and the wide receiver is looking at the last second because he's throwing that thing before the wide receiver is or the corner could ever know that the ball's coming. But all those offseason reps is how that happened. Now, if you're not in the same area as your quarterback, that's going to be difficult, but there's a lot of times where the quarterback will set up a workout in a place and say, hey, let's go work out here, let's go do this, let's go do this. Now guys are working out everywhere, and Tom Brady's old school. He's like, listen, I don't even know this offense. I don't know the names of these routes. We need to get on this high school field, and when there's a chopper flying overhead, everybody just act like you're drinking water and having a good time.
It's very interesting because Tom's doing that. Ben's working out with only Steelers players. Like, it's interesting that the older players are working out with just their teammates, and then it seems like the younger quarterbacks go to wherever they work out with like their private coaches and whatever players are there.
It's true. It's two different trains of thought, I would assume. It's very two different trains of thoughts. I mean, old school. When I watched those videos of Cam throwing to Odell, I was like, damn, that would be cool to watch. And I bet you a lot of Browns fans potentially thought that too. And Browns fans like, listen, Baker's our guy. Okay, Baker's our guy. But if Baker isn't our guy, we'll rely on this video right back here to be like, boom. And then Saquon's making plays. Go ahead and let Danny Dimes overthrow him or something. They'll be like, remember when Saquon was working out with Sam Darnold? It's just setting up for these types of petty, heinous things to be said, asinine things to be said. But if guys are getting better, who gives a damn? This is the offseason. That's what it's for. But for me, Deebo Samuel hurting his feet is a big deal. Hurting his foot is a big deal. Wide receivers' feet are so important. You got to remember, wide receivers' feet are, I mean, they get beat to hell and back because these dudes are running full speed, and then the better of a wide receiver you are is the better you're able to cut without the corner knowing that you're about to cut or break stride or move, and your toes just get jammed into the end. I mean, wide receivers' toes just get absolutely crushed because they're trying to cut as hard as they possibly can to create separation, because in the NFL, creating separation is very difficult because you're playing against the best athletes on earth on the other side that are trying to mirror you. So, like, your feet are a very important part of the entire process. Him having a broken foot, I would assume, is a bit alarming to everybody in San Francisco, but Deebo Samuel is a freak. Let's assume he could potentially get back, but that could hurt him just like it did Hakeem Nicks.
You mentioned Josh Gordon. Do you think with the way the drug testing parameters have changed, will he have a lot more suitors now, or will teams still be kind of hesitant because he's been in the program?
That's exactly why he filed for reinstatement, right? I'd assume it's because, hey guys, you remember me? They called me Flash. I was really good in Cleveland, and I was really good in the Patriots, and I was really good at the Seahawks, and I was really, really good. But I did enjoy smoking weed a little bit, right? Weed was my medicine. Weed probably calmed me down a little bit. Weed made me think better. Weed, I think in my eyes, made me a better human. But in your eyes, you see, your eyes, you see, whenever you collected my urine, you guys were like, this guy can't be in our league anymore because of how often I did it. And I understand you had your rules, and I didn't comply to those. But, hey, you've changed those rules. And right now, it does not matter if I do what I had been doing for a long time, and I'm still a good player. I want to get back into it. I would assume there's going to be a lot of people that are like, hey, this dude's not going to miss games for weed anymore, right? And they're like, nope. Well, let's grow him a couple weed plants out here. Let's get his ass right over here to this team because there are some teams that need some weapons, and he was just that last year. I still remember him going deep with the Seahawks last year. Boom. What, a week after the Patriots get rid of him. Yeah. I mean, there is a chance that Josh Gordon becomes an electrifying player for somebody next year. Let's just hope they let Flash back in.
Tell you what, there's another one who is a year younger than him who was also an alien of a wide receiver in Marty Bryant, who is still out there.
Martavis is out there. He was unbelievable. I watched him against the Indianapolis Colts, put up 7,000 yards, I think, one game. He was 6'6".
Yeah, he was 6'4", 6'5". And he ran like a 4.3.
And he jumped, I think, like 40-some inches. He was his nickname was the Alien. I am an alien. What you're about to see here is not what humans do. I'm about to run faster, jump higher, and be taller than anybody you have. Marty Bryant was an absolute weapon. Percy Harvin, same thing, right? Josh Gordon, Antonio Brown. There is a lot of great wide receivers on the block right now on the market, and boom, who's going to get them? Who's going to pull the trigger? And will this make the Niners maybe bring somebody in who have a great culture, by the way? 49ers have a great culture, a winning culture. It feels like John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have set people up. Hey, you could be you. Do whatever you got to do. We want to help that. We want to promote that. We want to be a football team that is together. And you even think Antonio Brown, who just got parole, he's potentially even on the market as well if he can get past all this and prove that he's passed all this. I mean, this is a wide receiver allotment that is very, very talented, very, very deep. And I think we're going to see some people make some plays here, probably in the middle of training camp or at the end of training camp whenever they're looking at their guys, and then they pop on film of Marty Bryant from back in the day. They're like, this guy's still out there? You think he is anywhere near in shape? Can we get him in shape? Yep, let's bring him in. Oh, Josh Gordon's still out there? Yep, let's bring him in. Wait a minute. Percy Harvin, remember what he's still out there. There's a lot of old players out there that potentially weren't going to survive the league with the weed rules that they were and the way things were set up, and maybe the rules, the physicality of the rules. Now that the way the game has changed a little bit, might be a little bit of a nostalgia here and get some guys ring chasing.
Yeah, Martavis at the combine was 6'4", ran a 4.4 flat, and had a 40-inch vertical.
Yeah, so that is really athletic.
Do the Niners have to take care of Kittle before they try and sign another receiver first?
They're not going to sign anybody to a big contract. None of those guys are going to get massive contracts. They're going to get prove-it deals no matter where they go. Now, granted, one prove-it deal might be a little bit more than the other deal, but the NFL knows that they are in a position to leverage against these players because these players aren't currently in the league. Whether you like it or not, they will outperform their contracts, whatever it is, wherever they go, and they'll get paid that next one. But, yeah, they're going to have to pay Kittle over there. Yeah. Just like the Chiefs are going to have to pay Patty Mahomes. So they got $45 to spend in salary cap right now. That's why Jamal Adams can't possibly go there, I don't think, because there's no way they could afford him. I'm sure they would love him. And the Chiefs, by the way, if they get another all-pro safety over there with Tyrann Mathieu and everything they got cooking on that defensive side of the ball, let alone that offense, it's just like Ferrari. Offensive line that can go one-on-one. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. The Chiefs could be tough for, I don't know, next 10 years. 21 minutes after the hour, we have to get to a break. We got Terrell Davis joining us in 9 minutes. Can't wait to chat with him, friend of the show. We'll also talk to you, 1-833-622-3331. Maybe some YouTube questions at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. What a day. This is The Pat McAfee Show. I hope you are not hating it too much. That'd be nice of you. Last night I was roaming around Canal and Bourbon, and it was a lot of purple. And when you get that Mercedes-Benz Dome, and it starts getting loud and it gets rompous, obviously, not only for momentum and swings like that it can help, but for the defensive line to get a jump. I think that is a big deal. A lot of freak athletes on the field, and kickers are a spectacle no matter what happens. Whenever you're in those high-pressure moments, you normally fall back on your fundamentals. You normally fall back on your technique. You try to take your brain out of it. Cade York gets a beautiful ball. One person up in the parking garage. Warming up right now, there's just 3 dudes in suits breaking down every single move he makes during his warm-up. What a wild scene here for Trevor Lawrence.
Quarterback, number 9, Joe Burrow.
You're supposed to be some draft expert, and you say Joe Burrow was a 5th-round draft pick before this year. Now he's number 1 overall. What do you know? What do you know, Todd? You are so handsome, it's ridiculous. What do you think has been happening in this first quarter? Why has Joe Burrow been stumped by this Clemson defense?
I think Brent Venables is the best DC in the country, and it's honestly not a shock to me. He did this to Tua last year.
Odell Beckham just stopped by.
Odell's very excited.
Odell's happy with the 52-yard attempt coming from the kid from Clemson. I've seen Odell make this with a spinning ball. And BT Potter puts it through from 52 in Odell's. In your face. It wasn't in your face. It wasn't in your face. You weren't looking at it.
That's a career high for BT Potter.
Bro, imagine Joe Burrow just having to stand in there and know that Isaiah Simmons is scot-free right in your suckle. That's a bad call. No chance Alberto Riverod would turn that over. He was in the Buccos organization. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here Friday, June 19th. Holiday in America, Juneteenth. Look it up. I think I was kind of embarrassed whenever I didn't know about it. I felt like I was a pretty educated human. Looked it up, like, oh, that should be a holiday in our beautiful country of the United States of America, for sure. If you look it up, I think that is something that could definitely happen and be good. This morning, we have talked about a lot of things, okay? Mm-hmm. We talked about the AFL this morning. There was a match where there was a fight. Nick's team got beat up and they lost. That's kind of a sad story. Collingwood Magpies play tomorrow morning, tonight, 2:30 a.m. They will be slaughtering the St. Kilda Saints. Go ahead and hammer that on FanDuel. We talked about Jamal Adams. We talked about Deebo Samuel. Hard Knocks debuts August 11th. It'll have Rams and Chargers on there. And from what I have been hearing from the NFL's medical team, They basically said, hey, Tony Fauci, take a hike. We'll handle this, okay, but we don't need your bubble. You do your talk. We'll do our talk. And to talk a little bit more NFL with us, a man who is a great voice, great analyst on the NFL Network, and an absolute stud on the football field. Pro Bowler, Mile High Saluter, stud, Terrell Davis.
Mr. Back, good morning. Happy Juneteenth to you, my man. I like that intro. That was awesome.
Happy Juneteenth. So hold on, Terrell. I did not know about Juneteenth until a couple days ago, and I felt like an idiot, to be honest with you, Terrell. I did. I felt like an absolute idiot.
You and millions of Americans didn't know about it, and I mean, I like that because it really illustrates what we've been talking about. When people say Black Lives Matter, it's not just about the incidents with the police officers. It's about schools, right? The education, our history, being part of American history. You know, when you go to school and you're being taught American history, there's so much of Black history, which is American history, that's left out, that we don't talk about. And so we feel like we're a people that's not being heard, we're not being seen, we don't become part of the fabric of America. And so that's where the disenfranchisement comes from. And people think, wow, you guys, no, we just want to be included. We want to be part of America, that dream that we all, the American flag, everything that it stands for many years, Blacks have not been seen to be a part of that. And that's where all the frustration has come from hundreds of years of that.
Well, I think, by the way, we're at a time where not only am I learning about Juneteenth, but I think a lot of people who have potentially been tone deaf to a lot of this for a long time are learning about a lot of things. It feels like we're at a part now here. It feels like, especially now, and we're going to get into Roger Goodell and the NFL answering the young players, basically asking for them to step up and admit that they made a mistake with Colin Kaepernick in the kneeling situation 4 years ago. I think we're at a point now where everybody is kind of like, you know what? I was very ignorant on this entire subject. Now that people are learning, I think judgments are going to be potentially put to the side. There's always going to be idiots, but I feel like we're a much closer community now than we've ever been.
Absolutely, Pat. And you know what? It's great to see is that it's not only you see the Black athletes, but then you see the white athletes. You see people of all colors coming together to fight for its equality. It's not to fight for Black rights. It's to fight for human rights. It's a fight to have the equal rights. And when you see the NFL stepping up, when you see NASCAR having a moment of silence before their event, I mean, and you see all these institutions taking down these symbols of the Confederacy, that's what this whole movement was about. That's why you had to have people protest. It wasn't pretty. Yeah, there was some rioting going on that, the things that we don't like to see, but it was necessary for these things to happen. It's not one act that's going to make this better. It's going to be a continual, acts that have to be done. And not only just right now, but these things have to continue throughout the next couple of years for us to turn something around that's been there for so long. But I'm really happy to see the response from just a lot of people, the love that's out there, because this is a love movement. This is about what's right versus what's wrong, good and evil. This is not about a black and white thing. This is about treating humans as humans, and that's what it's about.
I agree completely. And you referenced the NFL answering to this and saying that it's not just black athletes, it's white athletes as well. But the NFL answering was a surprise to me. I'm going to be Roger Goodell sitting in that basement with that video as fast as that came. Now, I've talked to a couple of my former teammates. I talked to Darius Butler yesterday about this. He was like, man, as soon as he saw Patrick Mahomes in there, as soon as he saw as soon as he saw everybody, he was like, he knew that the NFL was going to have to do something. But the NFL acknowledging their mistake from 4 years ago, I think that is a beautiful show of like what everybody else who potentially had the same views as the NFL and maybe have been tone deaf was a good thing. Your name is synonymous with the NFL. Terrell Davis is synonymous with the NFL. Hall of Famer. You're on NFL Network a lot. Was there any conversations that you heard about whether or not Goodell should answer, or how do you think that whole thing came to be? Because I didn't think there was a chance that a group of 31 billionaires who are known to be stubborn, known to be hard-headed, known to be like, hey, this is our league, we're a massive league, we're the most successful league, we'll do whatever the hell we want, whenever the hell we want. For Roger Goodell to come out and do that, there had to be some conversations, I'd assume, behind the scenes that you might have heard or something like that.
I did not, because as you just mentioned, it came out pretty quickly. The first thing I saw was the players with their video. And when they put that out on social media and we saw that was so powerful. to have Patrick Mahomes, the voice of the NFL, the young star, rising black star quarterback in our league, to be involved in that, to me, that was a tipping point. That's like, okay. And then you see the other guys standing up and making those comments. So I was proud to see that. And the NFL almost had the answer after that. Once they spoke, because they were speaking for the NFL, saying, hey, listen, since you're not saying anything, we are going to speak for you. And then Roger Goodell, seemed like he was it might have been a day after that video came out, Roger Goodell made his statement. And this just felt different to me. This whole thing felt different because of how it went down, what happened, and people got a chance to finally see something that was so egregious, something that there was no explanation for why George Floyd was killed. It made most people, even if whatever color you were, kind of step back and be like, wow, that does happen. I heard people say it happened. I've never seen it happen, but we just witnessed a 9-minute video of a man being murdered by law enforcement. And you're like, that just doesn't make sense in your mind. But many blacks have been saying for years, this is what's been happening to us. We get harassed more than anybody. And so to see that, I think most people are saying, okay, I need to start to listen now. I see the video, so now we're listening. And I think that's what happened with the NFL. And they realized when Colin was kneeling down for the flag, people made it not about what he was kneeling about.
Oh, yeah.
They made it about the flag and the military.
Quickly, so by the way. Quickly. That happened quickly. Yeah, it was like a
and they were nope. He's disrespecting the flag. He doesn't like our military. He hates America. Well, then if you don't like America, then leave. All he was saying was, listen, I love this country. He said that. He said, but yet there is still a systemic issue of racism in this country. There's an inequality in this country. There's police brutality. Blacks are being treated differently than any other race. And so he was trying to point that out, but people didn't want to hear it. Obviously corporations are a little sensitive about that, so they made it about the flag. And once you make it about the flag and being anti-American, you're not going to win that one, man. You're not winning that one.
Well, I think today, happy Juneteenth is a great day to continue this conversation. But now let's kind of pivot to the current state of the NFL. I think the conversation is, well, if they kneel, are they going to be able to kneel? I think the NFL, by the way, I think the coaches, I think the GMs, I think the owners, Goodell even, I think there's going to be a lot more open dialogue from everybody, as opposed to the conversations that were happening earlier that were like, let's make this go away. That was kind of how everybody thought those conversations was going. Now I feel like there's a potential going to be real open dialogue. I think it's going to be better for our league. I think it's going to be better for everybody. And ultimately at the end, as the NFL goes, America goes. That's just kind of the way it goes. So I think this is going to potentially be very good for everybody with the NFL is kind of stepping up. Now, let's talk about the NFL in the NFL season. Tony Fauci. Okay, Tony Fauci. All right, Tony Fauci comes out.
Our guy.
Yeah. Hey, listen, 44 decades, whatever, in the medicine world and taking care of people. I don't need him coming after the NFL right now. I don't need that in my life.
You don't see it happening.
That's crazy.
He wants to go to a bubble, man. How you going to do a bubble with players? How's that possible?
It's going to be impossible. And the more and more I thought about it last night, because I was just so mad. I'm like, Fauci, listen, okay? I stayed in my house for a month or whatever. Listen, Fauci, I tried to do all I can. But right now, with the thought that the MLS is coming back July 8th, with teams supposed to be reporting to training camp July 28th, with the NBA on July 31st, I don't need you telling me that the NFL is not going to happen right now, Fauci. And then the NFL's medical person came out and said, well, hey, Fauci, we'll figure this out, okay? There has to be a way that the NFL figures out a way to have a season. I think if there isn't an NFL season, Terrell, I think potentially we see America really go up and on. I think there's a chance there's a real problem in this whole thing.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine not having a season.
No,
I don't know. I just can't see it. I mean, I could see it with no fans. I could see that happening. I don't know, but they're watching the NBA. Obviously, NBA is going to the Disney World. They'll have this kind of quarantine, this bubble. I'll be interested to see how that works out. But we can't do it with, I don't know how many players on the roster in training camp. 90 players, coaching staff. Where are you going to get that type of capacity? Where is that going to be? But now you're talking about 32 teams with 90 plus players, staff. Where? How are you going to do that? I mean, so they have a lot of logistical issues that they have to figure out. And what if what if players get sick? What if players, get COVID-19? How do you keep them from, do you have backup players who are like in their own bubble, and so you make sure they don't get touched and you rotate them in and out? I mean, it's fascinating how they're talking about doing it, but I know they're going to find a way. I don't know what it is going to be, but they will find a way to have this season. It might be a shortened preseason, but we got to have football, bro.
I think Roger Goodell will figure it out. I mean, Adam Silver's been able to figure it out. Rob Manfred has not been able to figure it out. But I think Roger Goodell will be able to figure it out with the owners and the players. I just hope there has to be. Now, let's assume that a season does go off. Okay, let's just assume that a season happens. That Chiefs team, who stops the Chiefs team? How do they stop that Chiefs team? They got even better. And now Jamal Adams is saying he wants to get traded to the Chiefs, which I don't know how they have enough money in a bank account out there in Kansas City to pay all these people. But that team looks like they are setting up to be the next team of the NFL that people have to worry about for the next 5-10 years potentially.
They have the ingredients. And when you have a young quarterback, and not only is he young and you talk about potential, he's already displayed it. He's already shown you what he can do. This team was down double digits. Let me just make this clear to people. Double digits in all 3 of their playoff games. Double digits, unheard of, and came back and won every single one of them. It's not about you having a good defense anymore against this team. You better be able to match them with your firepower. You better get the same explosive players. You better have that in mind. When you play them, you better think we have to put 40 on the board, and that still might not be enough. But that has to be the mentality. So back to your question, to me, it's more about them and how they approach this season. I've won a championship, won 2, but we won back-to-back. The most difficult thing to do is to do back-to-back because not only are people playing you differently, but you sometimes take it for granted and have this kind of, all right, we're good. And you just, you get complacent. You might feel like because we showed up, we're going to win this game. And to me, that's probably the biggest thing for them is to make sure they don't get full or get complacent about where they are. If they stay hungry, they'll be a tough team to beat.
I mentioned Jamal Adams there in that conversation. Have you been keeping up with this entire thing here with the Jets? It was originally reported that he and the GM had a conversation. GM told him that he'll never be traded, that he's not on trading block. And then reports came out that teams called and asked to trade for Jamal Adams. He felt offended because the GM lied to him. Now, here we are a couple weeks later. He's going back and forth with Jonathan Abrams on social media, and he says it might be time to move on. And then it comes out, hey, he's thinking about a trade. And then they even listed out the teams that he would go to if a trade was to happen. How much do you buy into the fact that Jamal Adams is potentially not going to be a Jet next year, especially when he's one of their best young players and a guy that you could potentially build an entire defense around for the next 5 to 10 years? But it seems like he's not happy and wants to get out of the dumpster fire that is the New York Jets organization right now.
In my experience, when I've seen this type of fire, they say where smoke is fire. And we've seen a lot of smoke with Jamal Adams. And like you said before, initially they were shopping him. He got offended by that. They weren't shopping. They were just fielding calls, right? And that's typical for any front office. And then, so then they hash things over, but they haven't signed him to a new contract. He wants to be paid. They don't seem like they're in any rush to do it. And so I guess this morning came out where he's demanding a trade. He does not want to be with the Jets. So for me, I think it's real. I think it's a real thing that he won't be with the Jets this year. So yeah, like I said, every time I've seen this play out in the past, it's always been where there's smoke, there's fire. Jamal Adams will not be a New York Jet this year.
Oh, so you think that he is going to be able to find a way to get out of there? You think that he'll either not show up?
You give me a player who hasn't forced his way out of a team. We've seen it, right? Too many players are forcing their ways out. They just, when they say they want to trade, they don't want to be there. You can't keep a player there. We've seen it happen. AB forced his way out of Pittsburgh. He didn't want to be there. He's out of there.
And out of Oakland. He forced himself out of Oakland, too.
And Oakland.
Yeah. What do you got?
He didn't force his way out of New England. They got rid of him there, but yeah.
Hey, let's talk about what you're here for. It's on your hat. It's a great logo. The shirt looks beautiful as well. I hope that they're selling this merch. Defy Performance CBD. I believe it's an energy drink. I want to let you know, Terrell Davis, I have on a Stairmaster done 284 floors in the last 2 days. I am needing every type of CBD I could potentially have. Tell us about Defy Performance CBD to fuel your essential self. I'll tell you what, I need some fueling right now.
Yeah, man. So, we've got the best tasting CBD drink on the market, man. Best tasting, our lemonade. We have an orange mango and we have a mixed berry. But we just launched our zero. So we got even better by removing the added sugar. So we had sugar in our first product, which is our performance drink. It's got coconut water in there. It's got electrolytes, so it helps you replenish. It's got, B vitamins. But it also has, the full spectrum CBD. The best part about it is it has no THC in it, so you don't get that buzz when you drink it. But our zero
TD, I don't know if that's the best part.
That is the best part.
Okay.
For a finely tuned athlete like yourself there, Pat, you don't need that in you, man.
Well,
you don't need that.
Tomato. Flash Gordon might be getting back in the league, by the way. I mean, I'm pumped up about that, but I am going to try. I can't wait.
Go to drinkdefy.com for more information. We also launched our Defy Nation, which is our community of all of our, we teamed up with the team Red, White, and Blue, which is a veterans organization that we're partnered with. And so our platform and our community is about helping people overcome their everyday. Come visit us, man. We have workouts there. We'll have, challenges and stuff like that. So it's a really cool community. Again, that's at Defy Nation and then drinkdefy.com. You guys can check our stuff out. I wish I had a bottle right here. I've been drinking all my bottles, man.
It tastes too good. And by the way, the no sugar is a big deal. I remember when Gatorade, right, came through the NFL and everything, and then people started looking at like the calories and the carbs and everything. There was more sugar in that than like most mixed drinks that you would get. So then everybody started going to Pedialyte. Everybody's like, all right, we'll start drinking this terrible tasting stuff that has no sugars because it's all these electrolytes. And then Gatorade went to Gatorade Zero, which almost saved their company, I think, with a lot of athletes. The fact that you guys now have a CBD drink that has zero sugars in it, I mean, let's go. That is what I'm here for, TD.
Yes, indeed, brother. That's what you need, man. I mean, but I still drink the one with sugar in it because I work out a lot. So for me, I need the carbs, man. I need the extra carbs in me. I need that energy. So I'll drink both of them.
And I'll drink the one that you guys put THC in. So that's what, ladies and gentlemen. So,
maybe down the line, man, a few years from now, we might come back with that one.
Hey, we'll call that one the Mile High one because I'll be up in cloud 10. Ladies and gentlemen, Terrell Davis. Hey, thank you, TD. You're the man. 46 minutes after the hour, we have to get to our second radio break here. We'll be back on the other side. I love talking to that guy.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's really chill, man. Hall of Famer. Did not start out that way, though. He had to earn his way through that thing and then went and got it. Good for him. 45 minutes after the hour on this happy Juneteenth. By the way, I'm happy that okay. By the way, he's been on NFL Network talking about this a lot. Yep. He is very well read. So I'm happy he came on there and, shared some knowledge. Here we go. Let's finish up this show in a beautiful fashion on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. So we've been told that the Collingwood Magpies have like a fireman Ed over there. Oh, yeah. He's like their biggest fan. I guess he is a lightning rod, a man that'll go to war for the Magpies. I hope to one day be like this man in the Magpie. That's Jaffa is his name?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It gets better.
Okay.
Oh. He is front lines, loves his team.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
Always there.
So that is the face of the Magpie Nation right there.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that jacket. That was the jacket I wore at WrestleMania. Yeah. It was the jacket I wore at WrestleMania. So me and Jaffa, he loves. By the way, I think the middle finger in Australia is a pretty large thing. Yeah. There's all those photos of Dusty Martin, Richmond Tigers stud. Yep. He's flipping off every camera he's seen, I think. I've saw 6 to 7 photos of him just flipping. This guy's got middle fingers flying.
Like, hello?
I like that Australia's a big, hey, fuck you, country. I like
He's
that
been the leader of the Collingwood Football Club cheer squad Squad since 2001.
Cheer Squad?
That's what they call it on here, so it might be wrong, but that's what Wikipedia calls it.
I don't know if I love Cheer Squad.
Yeah.
You know?
Cheer Crew. We'll call it Cheer Crew.
Yeah, but
That's not better.
They have all these cool.
Leader of the mates.
Leader of
That's
the
what I'm
mates.
saying. Like maybe he's the head bloke or something. You know, like I don't know if he's the leader of the cheer squad.
Boss bloke.
But maybe we don't understand what a cheer squad is. Maybe we
Boss
don't.
bloke.
Boss bloke.
That's a very
the
good
boss bloke for the Magpies.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Is Jaffa. All right, I hope to meet the boss bloke someday. Old Jaffa, what a legend. Let's go. There's a guy for the Pacers. He always holds up signs and other shit. He's like one of those noted fans.
Oh yeah. Do they have one for the Colts too, or no?
Yeah, we had a tuba guy, and then there's a fake Tony Dungy that shows up. He looks exactly like Tony Dungy.
The day I went to that preseason game and Andrew Luck retired, you had Puppet
You were
Lady.
at that game?
Yeah, I was at the game.
Did you boo?
No, I was supportive. Of
Oh, he
Andrew.
booed. So this whole story that Colts fans were booing, it was actually a Bears fan that was booing. Oh, how do we make the Colts fans look bad? Where's the sound thing? Let me find that. Boo! Right into it.
But Puppet Lady, her puppets went down, and they were very sad. I'll never forget that sight.
I don't know, Puppet Lady.
She just has 2 puppets on her hands all times.
I don't know. There was this big guy that was rock star. He used to have long hair. They used to go to him in like the fourth quarter. He'd play air guitar and swing his thing. That was really good. There's been numerous attempts at starting like a chant for the Colts because there really isn't a chant. There really isn't like anything to really tie into. But you just got a passionate fan base that doesn't have a boss bloke yet. Let's go to Danny over there in Minnesota. What's going on, Danny?
How you doing, Pat?
Not bad, Danny. How are you? Happy Juneteenth, pal.
Happy Juneteenth to you, and just like you, I just found out about this thing, and I feel like I should have known for a while.
That's exactly how we all feel, but I think that's, by the way, 2020. Here we go, learning about stuff.
Yep, you can't fix things till you know about them.
Well said.
Wow,
Well
damn.
said.
This guy's fucking deep, isn't it? Hey, that a boy, Danny. Deep Danny here. What do you want to talk about, brother?
I got 2 things real quick. First one's a shout out to your best gal, Val. Not even going to try and do the voice. I'll mess it up.
Thank you.
Second one is a very serious question for you. When you guys were doing all the giveaways during the lockdown, who do you think spent more, you guys or Emmett on his bar tab for the last
Danny, you can call back anytime you want. Definitely Mitt's bar tabs if we had to guess by his reactions on Monday and how sack of shit he looked. Rocky in Oregon, what's going on?
Hey Pat, how's it going? How are you and the boys doing on Friday?
Yeah, it's a little Rocky Friday, huh? What do you want to talk about, man?
Hey, so you guys talked about it.
This guy's
the
name's
second hour
Rocky, by
there
the way. Z.
was about the San Francisco 49ers.
Adrian!
And then Connor stole my talking points with George Kittle. So the Niners have a very particular thing that
Hold on, Rocky. Hold 1 second, Rocky.
I told him to say.
No.
Hey, Rocky,
hold on,
listen.
Rocky. No, Connor, you hold on 1 second. So, Rocky, these people call in, and Connor's like, what do you want to talk about? Well, what about George Kittle having to be paid by the Niners? Do you think they'll be able to afford anybody else? Oh, anything else you got? And the guy's like, no, that's it. He's like, okay, sounds good. And then all of a sudden, Connor's sitting back here like, as soon as this pops up, I'm just going to cuck Rocky like Jim Cornette's wife.
No, that's not what happened. That's not. Rocky brought this up, and I said, don't forget to mention George Kittle. I told Rocky about how they won't be able to afford him with
Rocky.
George Kittle. So now Rocky wants to come in here and say I stole him.
He's putting his ideas into other people's brains.
No, yeah, don't be doing that either.
No, why not?
Rocky, I'm sorry that you didn't get to say whatever you wanted to say, but you just brought something to light that we will talk about after this show's over. What? Don't be putting your stupid brain in anybody else's.
I'm just telling them when they're bringing all this stuff up, don't forget George Kittle.
Oh, you're helping. What a hero.
Thank you.
Is this Uncle Sam right here?
Yes, it is.
I can't read.
Hands up. Hands up.
My chair's moving. Turn this up, man.
Oh, yeah.
Keep them hands up. We can get them hands up. We can
Keep them hands up.
The crowd is saying, whoa. Hands up. We keep them hands up. We keep them hands up. The crowd is singing,
Wow.
Hands up.
Simply Safe was designed to be easy to use while protecting your whole home. 24/7. Order online with the click of a button. Open the box, place the sensors, plug it in, and your home is protected around the clock. Jay, why are you laughing? Jay, you never laugh. No technician or salesperson has to come and disrupt your house. You don't need to pay any outrageous monthly fees or sign a 2-year contract. Simply Safe was named Best Overall Home Security of 2020.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They wouldn't lie to me in this ad read. Nope. By U.S. News and World Report. And their 24/7 professional monitoring and emergency dispatch starts at 50 cents a day. Jeez. I'm going to call the action real quick. Head to simplysafe.com/Pat and get free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. That's simplysafe.com/Pat to make sure they know that our show sent you.
Big hands up show. Big hands up. Uncle Sam with a K and 2 M's, if you're looking for that one. 52 minutes after hour 2 had begun. We had Terrell Davis just talked about a lot of things that are happening in the world, including the NFL, the state of the NFL, and how Tony Fauci needs to keep his smart-ass mouth shut. Actually, I think he's supposed to be talking now. Like, I think that is...
Well, talk about the right things.
Ton, stay in your lane, Ton.
Yeah. Keep the letters N, F, and L out of your mouth.
Yeah, or I, F, N, will, okay? Fauci. All right, I don't want to hate you, but I have to at this point. I don't need you bringing this doom and gloom on the best league on earth down on me right now on June 18th, pal, June 19th. I don't need it. Happy Juneteenth, by the way. Let's go ahead and celebrate this day going forward. The Colts have initiated this being a national holiday. No employees are at home. The NFL is doing the same thing. I think the United States of America will as well. 1 o'clock, McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk. Yesterday we had Undertaker as our guest.
Hell yeah.
Listen to that full conversation at Pat McAfee Show 2.0 podcast on all podcast platforms right now. Today, Robert Mathis will be joining us. Live in studio.
Ring of Honor.
Colts Ring of Honor's newest member. He's going to be a future Hall of Famer and absolutely good man. From all of us, all of you, we can't thank you for listening and watching enough. You're the best. We will see you on Monday. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. All right. Well, I was going to have Mitt do his minutes, but we might as well just save it for when Robert's here so he really just shits his pants.
Yeah, good move.
You know what I mean? Make him, what's that?
Is it?
Yeah, Robert's coming in today.
That's awesome.
I sent him a text last night asking him, like, hey, you still coming in or whatever? And he was like, yeah, you got it. I was like, all right, here we go.
I can't wait to show him what we've all been working on.
What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Because we watch a Gridiron Gang, which is a company he owns that is teaching the future of pass rushing, offensive line, and running back and wide receiver. Robert Mathis, businessman, Colts Ring of Honor newest member, future Hall of Famer, and an absolute stud of a human, joining us at 1 o'clock. So from all of us to all of you, if you enjoy this show and you enjoy what we got going on, be a friend, tell a friend to subscribe. We're trying to get to 1 million. When we get to 1 million subscribers, we're giving away a lot of shit. Too much shit, to be honest with you. It's been... in CFO Phil's eyes, obviously. It's been quite a conversation to go through what all I would like to give away, and then listening to the guy who has to run the books and all that stuff on the backside of it, kind of be like, oh, let's maybe slow it down a little bit. And it's like, no, we get to 1 million subscribers as a sports show that doesn't have any sports to talk about. I am going to give shit away, and that's what we got going on. Be a friend, tell a friend to subscribe. We got videos releasing all weekend. We can't thank you enough for fucking with us. This has been the Pat McAfee Show from Indianapolis, Indiana! Dumbest show on earth. See you later.